Alright, what we're going to be cooking today. It's been a while since I've done a cooking video. So tonight we're making for dinner a quail and feta pasta bake. There we go. Quail and feta pasta bake. So this is, here, I'm going to grab a paper towel here. I left a feather on one of these. Get it off real quick. This is a recipe that originally didn't have meat in it, but it definitely can add any kind of protein you wanted to it. I'm going to be using quail because I've got some I need to use up, and why not do it? This looks like one that'll go really well. So what I've got here is about five quail breasts. I'm going to go ahead and take the meat off the bone. We'll walk you through this recipe as we go. Let me bring you in close. I'll kind of show you how I do that. Probably cut these down after I take the meat off the bone. I'll end up with two halves, and I'll probably cut them in half again just to make them small, really bite-sized pieces and make it stretch a little bit further. I may need to throw one or two more in here. I don't know how much this is going to make just yet. We're going to find out as we go. And there's another feather. Another feather I missed while processing. So let me bring the camera in close here, and we'll show you kind of how I do that, how I remove it from the bone. It's pretty straightforward and pretty simple, but I'll show you how to do that anyway. Alright, so first of all, I'm just going to remove a little bit of that excess fat. Don't necessarily need that. So basically what I'm going to do is just cut right down the backbone. You may be able to see the backbone that runs right down through there. So we're just going to cut, just kind of follow that bone on down if you can. I don't cut too deep on the first cut because it's a little tricky to find that backbone. I'll go ahead and cut down the other side as well, and that will give me the ability to separate this apart. And just cut it all the way down. I'll turn it around. I'll follow this around. There's a bone right there I'm following. That's the wishbone basically, and just kind of cut, follow that until it goes all the way through. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Just follow that bone. Let my knife right along the side of that bone, and then we start cutting and taking away. So what I'm doing is I'm just following that line right there. I'm going to peel this back as I go and just work it out. That's all there is to it. It would help if I had a slightly sharper knife, but that's okay. This will work. And there we go. There's one half. Do the other half. Same way. I know I'm probably blocking the camera a little bit. It's just kind of a hard angle to get to. Just again, cut right down through there and start peeling that away as I do. And get as much of the meat off the bone as I can so I don't waste any of it. And there we go. There's two of them. One down and four more to go. So let me go ahead and get these done. I'll do these off camera, and then I'll come back and I'll show you kind of the next step. So I got that quail all cut up. I'm gonna add, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of olive oil to this pan here. It's a little on the hot side, isn't it? It may be just a little too hot, but I think we'll turn that down just a tad bit. And then we're gonna just scrape that quail in there. Basically, I just cut it mostly in half, and then in thirds, more or less. And I'm not looking to cook it here. We're just going to get some browning and some color on it. It's going to go pretty fast because these are pretty small. They'll cook. This is going to go in the oven. So they'll cook in the oven. They'll finish cooking in the oven. We just want some color on them, a little bit of flavor. We'll get off there. Hit them with a little salt. A little bit of pepper. Again, this is going to go pretty fast. We just want to get them kind of browned on the outside, really. That's about all we want to do here. So good hot pan's helping out with that. That's what I'm looking for. A little bit of color. probably go ahead and move this pan off the heat, but let me get them all flipped over first. Probably a better way to do this than what I'm doing, but oh well, it'll work. Like I said, we're not looking at cooking them all the way through. Just some color, that's all we want. Okay. I'm going to move it off the heat. It'll sit there and sizzle for just a few minutes while we get the rest of this ready. Okay, so what I've got here is about 2 pints of cherry tomatoes. This is a 9x13, I believe. Maybe it's an 8x12. It doesn't really matter. Whatever will fit. I think it's a 9x13 pan. So dumped about 2 pints of cherry tomatoes in there. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil over the top of them. Hit them with a little salt and pepper. Just a little. And then maybe a little bit of Italian seasoning. Let me dig that out of the cabinet. Okay, found it. Just a sprinkling of Italian seasoning over the top of that should be pretty decent. I'm not going to go too overboard with that. Just a little bit. And now, let's toss that just slightly. Make sure those all get good and oily. We're going to make a little bit of room here. Let's throw our quail in there. Just spread it around. It doesn't really need to be in any specific order, but we're going to leave a hole right here in the middle. I don't want the quail to be on the bottom of the pan. I don't want it to stick, so I'm going to set it on top of these tomatoes. They should have enough oil on the bottom and, you know, the juices that they'll produce in the oven. That should keep them from sticking too much. So this will all get stirred together in the end, so you don't have to worry about like spreading it out too evenly right now. There we go. And then finally we've got an 8-ounce block of feta cheese. This is where the feta comes in. If I can figure out how to open it. It says peel there, but boy, that does not. There it goes. That was not easy. And that's going to go right in the middle, just like that. So that's going to go right into the oven just like this. We're going to bake it for about 35 minutes at 400 degrees. I've got the oven preheating now, so as soon as it's ready, we'll throw this in, and in the meantime, we can get our pasta started. Okay, so the pasta we're going to be using today is the cavatappi. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I'm not French or Italian, so I don't know how to pronounce all the different types of pasta out there. We only need about 8 ounces. This is a 16-ounce. Yeah, this is a 16-ounce container. So about half of this container is going to go in. When the water starts boiling, we'll cook it to about al dente, which is, let's see how long this says. Where's the cooking instructions? Probably 6 to 8 minutes. So probably around 7 minutes we'll cook it, and then hopefully try to time it to where that's getting pretty close to done by the time this is getting done. Then we're just going to combine them and stir them all together. So I'll be back with you. I'm going to get some garlic toast going on the little side pizza cooker over here. This thing is, I've had this forever. This Pizza Pizzazz. I don't know if it's even showing up on camera, but does great for frozen pizzas, does great for garlic toast too. So we'll be back with you whenever this stuff starts finishing up. Alright, so fresh out of the oven. This is what it looks like after about 35 minutes, I think it was. So we're going to break this feta up here, stir this all around, get it all mixed together. I've got just a little bit of pasta sauce, or pasta water that I saved that I'll mix into it whenever we add the pasta in here in just a second. Let me get that stirred in. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. There's a couple more ingredients I need to add here real quick. I'm going to do some garlic. It actually calls for several cloves of garlic. I've got this jarred garlic that, since we're not cooking it, I think is going to be a little less harsh. I like garlic quite a bit, so I'm going to add, I think it asked for a couple of cloves, but I'm going to add quite a bit. And then it calls for fresh basil, which I don't have any because I'm not growing any right now. So I'm going to use this basil paste. I've never tried this before, but it should be good. A couple, maybe a tablespoon or so of that. And then we'll stir all that together and add the pasta in. Well, that smells really good now. Alright, now it's time for the pasta. I'll let it sit over there and drain. It got a little bit on the hard side, but that's okay. I've got a little bit of pasta water there I can add, and it'll break apart as I start stirring it in. So we'll pour a little bit of this pasta water in here. This will help bring it all together. And basically it's just stir, combine the ingredients. Almost need a bigger pan. This is I'm running out of room here. But this looks pretty good. It smells fantastic. We have gone a little more than the 8 ounces of pasta. I'm not sure. Alright, so this is the final result here. Let me grab a piece of, see if I can get a piece of everything. I don't know if I can get it all on here. I don't know if I can't scoop tomato on there with that piece of quail on my fork. A little piece of pasta, a little bit of tomato, got that feta. Let's give it a try. Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. Those tomatoes nice and bright. Feta cheese in there. If anything, I think maybe cut back on the amount of pasta because the sauce didn't quite go as far as I wanted it to, or maybe add just a little bit more cheese. But all in all, pretty good. Alright, that's it. That's it for this one. Like I said, it's been a while since we've done a cooking video. I get people asking about cooking all the time. Here's one you can use up some of your quail with. This would probably go good with pretty much any protein, or you could even leave the meat out completely and it still would be good. Those tomatoes are really the star of this dish, I think. The feta's nice and balanced. The little Parmesan over the top wouldn't be bad either. But all in all, this is a pretty good little dish. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Check below. I'll leave the recipe in the comment section below. And as always, God bless.